2, 1. 7 things you probably didn't know you need to know. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Smart 7.
Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, the 20th of July, and it's International Chess Day. And a big happy birthday to Sandra Oh, Kim Carnes, Carlos Santana, and Giselle Bundchen. As temperatures soared to the highest ever recorded in the UK, a whopping 40.3 degrees Celsius, a major incident was declared in London because of the sheer pressure of the heatwave. Several huge grassland and house fires broke out on Tuesday, with the village of Wennington engulfed in thick, dark smoke. Leicestershire also announced a major incident. Jonathan Smith is the Assistant Commissioner for the London Fire Brigade.
We've probably never seen weather-related incidents, particularly to do with heat, on this scale before, but we do have well-rehearsed and practice plans in place.
The record's been broken in Scotland too. Temperatures hit close to 35 degrees Celsius. The Secretary-General of the World Meteorological Organisation, Petteri Talas, predicts big issues for the sick and elderly.
These heat waves are having impacts on human health, but especially those same people who have been vulnerable to COVID pandemic, they are also vulnerable to heat waves. So we expect to see increased deaths among the old and older sick people.
And Ed Miliband, the Shadow Climate and Net Zero Secretary, had this warning if more isn't done to address the climate crisis.
This feels unusual at the moment, but it is increasingly going to become the new normal. You know, that's what all the scientists are telling us. You know, the planet is warmer than it's been for 125,000 years.
But fear not, meteorologists say we will get some respite. Dr. Mark McCarthy, Science Manager of the National Climate Information Centre, gave a preview of the days ahead.
Over this week, we'll see sort of temperatures come down to closer to what we would expect normally for this sort of time of year. But alongside that, there are going to be some risks during the week of thunderstorms and isolated sort of very intense showers as a consequence of that.
Boris Johnson came face to face with his top team for the very last cabinet meeting as Prime Minister. He talked up his achievements and pointed out it's been a year since the scrapping of England's remaining COVID restrictions.
On another scorching, sweltering day, I think it's very, very important that we think back to that moment when we opened up and try and balance risk with the need to keep our country, our society and our economy moving.
The race to replace Boris and become the next PM has now been whittled down to 3. Rishi Sunak is still the most backed among Tory MPs with 118 votes. It's tight between Penny Mordaunt and Liz Truss, who received 92 and 86 respectively. 1922 Committee Chairman Sir Graham Brady revealed who'd been knocked out on Tuesday.
Henry Badenoch is eliminated from the election. The remaining 3 candidates will proceed to a final ballot of the parliamentary party.
As Ukraine's President Zelensky continues to clean up his security services with the deputy director the latest to lose his job, Russia's President Vladimir Putin made his first trip outside of the country since the war started. He headed to Tehran for meetings with his Iranian and Turkish counterparts, hoping to deepen ties with grain exports, Syria and the Ukraine conflict on the agenda. Both Tehran and Moscow face severe US sanctions, which Putin has described as a declaration of economic war. He seemed happy to see friendly faces, even posing for an awkward 3-person selfie with Ayatollah Khamenei and Turkish President Erdogan.
I am very glad that on the sidelines of our Ostankhinsky summit we have the opportunity to hold a bilateral meeting, when we have discussed it for 2 years.
A domestic abuse charity has called out the behaviour of one of the contestants on Love Island as misogynistic and controlling. Women's Aid revealed it had been tagged in a bunch of social media posts by viewers criticising Luca Bish. Ofcom tweeted that lots of people have been in touch to complain about episodes at the weekend, saying they'll all be carefully assessed. Even before the series started, producers had promised Islanders would receive training around language and behaviour, but it doesn't seem to have stuck. There have been accusations of bullying of the deaf contestant Tasha, and Luca, who's partnered with Michael Owen's daughter Gemma, has been making a right idiot of himself.
I'm not happy, clearly. For me, you were entertaining it, you were.
No, I wasn't.
We didn't feel like confused with anyone else other than you. Me egging on the boys was only natural when I was the only one that didn't feel like doing anything. Maybe I got made out to be that.
Still to come on the Smart 7, England's cricketers bid farewell to Ben Stokes and Brad Pitt's bullet train makes its first stop in Paris. Right after this. Welcome back.
England's cricket hero Ben Stokes played his final one-day international on Tuesday before stepping away from the format in front of a home crowd in Durham. It was a pretty sorry end to this part of his career as he was out after just 5 runs as England lost to South Africa by 62. The all-rounder wants to focus on Test and 2020 cricket and explained his decision is based on the packed schedule that modern cricketers have to face.
You want the best players to be playing as much as you possibly can all the time, and you know, it's not just us or me. You know, you see it all around the world now where teams are having to, you know, rest some players in a certain series, so then, you know, they feel like they're getting the break. But, you know, I just said, we're not cars where you can't just fill us up and then we'll go off and out there and then wait to be filled up again.
Brad Pitt's been busy hopping around Europe in an eye-catching orange outfit as the 58-year-old posed in front of the Eiffel Tower with his co-stars from the new Bullet Train movie. David Leitch directed this one, and Brad's clearly feeling the French capital.
Paris is great. It's great to be here. In fact, I've been out here a few days early because it's so good.
The Oscar winner stars as a hitman with the codename Ladybug, where he has to retrieve a special briefcase on a high-speed train heading from Tokyo to Kyoto. Hang on a sec, let's get Brad to explain it. Come on, fella.
It's a heist on a train. We're all looking for this one thing, and hijinks occur. We kind of played him as a guy who was kind of coming off a mental breakdown. He was back into work, and you know, with all his therapy and self-help training, so that was pretty funny.
House of the Dragon's coming, much to the delight of Game of Thrones lovers who can head back to Westeros when the series premieres in the UK on Sky Atlantic on August the 22nd.
Men would sooner put the realm to the torch than see a woman ascend the Iron Throne.
In a new behind-the-scenes teaser, Game of Thrones author George R.R. Martin says there's always a little suspense about how good it's going to be, after he handed the creative reins to Ryan J. Condal and Miguel Sapochnik as exec producers.
I'm excited. It's always a little apprehensive when you turn your baby over to foster parents, but I'm involved in this.
This has been The Smart 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day.
Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.